Hi, it's Nikki Dore from Daily Mediation. Now, I was thinking about what to talk about today and on Twitter yesterday, and I get asked this a lot, is about repeating numbers, and I'm a little bit two ways about it. I would never turn around and say so it just missed something out of hand, but I think there is this notion that nowadays we're always on a phone or a computer. The number is quite easy to see, and we can get into a habit of only noticing the repeating numbers. Now, this is two ways, because at the same time, one of the things that happens when it's our intuition speaking is that something stands out more in some ways. So one of the ways that we know it's our intuition is that physiologically something is telling us this is important. Now these are multiple ways, and I'll just tell you a few that I know of. Some I experience, some I don't. So you can have like a little feeling of an electric current. So if you've got Uranus very prominent in your chart, you can have that feeling of, oh, this is important. You can have one that I have quite quite a lot, is it literally feels like I've got a beacon in my heart and it's like, take heed now. It can be that you hear a conversation and it sounds like the volume's been turned up, and you can't but hear it. It can be that the quality of the kind of like when you're watching something in high def versus normal TV, it kind of looks kind of that much more vivid, or maybe Technicolor. So that vivid colour, and it makes you take notice. It can be goosebumps. It can be all these different ways that your body and your energy tell you this is important. And so sometimes when you get these kind of repeating numbers, you should be getting some other sign with it that's input that says this is important. This has got an exclamation mark. This is really important for you to listen to feel, to experience. And it should resonate with you. Sometimes you'll hear someone say something and it just hits, and you're like, I don't know why I need to know this, but I do need to know this. And that separates noticing something from it being important. Now, with repeating numbers, it should be the context of those repeating numbers. So the number, the repeating the context, and then it should be the feelings. How do you experience it? And one of the things I bang on about a lot is about being present, being grounded, being aware, because then you're going to understand when it's yourself telling you that this is important, whether it's your guides giving you also a nudge. But it's really important to get used to what signals you give yourself to tell you this is important. So repeating numbers, they can be really important, but after you've got and another thing is some people use angel numbers and some people use numerology, which are slightly different. So I think you need to decide which side it kind of resonates with you. And then you need to think, how did I feel when I saw it? What did I experience? And then what context was it? Now that should give you enough clues. And internally, I always go, okay, it's 11:11. I get that all the time. And now, if I don't really acknowledge 11:11 because I get it all the time, but if I felt that it resonated, I would go, okay, I've seen it, I don't really know what it means, but I'm going to take that on board. And then it sits in your head a little bit, not in a bad way, and then later on you'll get something else, or you'll know, or I'll note it and something will come up. But unless you have a basis to understand what those numbers mean to you, then often the first 11:11 is usually just to say, can you hear me? Are you listening? Are you paying attention? And sometimes other repeated numbers too. So it's just going, okay, I'm trying to show you something. Now, if you don't know what that's trying to tell you, and I know a few people online were kind of like, okay, but I keep seeing these repeated numbers, you have to then go, okay, well, did I feel or experience something else on it? Okay, yes, then it's important to me, because I know those are my tells, those are the way I react when it's my intuition kicking in. And then it's kind of like, okay, so I don't understand what it means. How do I go about that? You can, regardless of depending on what you believe in, whether you believe the universe, whether you believe in spirit, whether you believe in Buddha, doesn't matter, or just something else out there, you can actually say, okay, I don't know what it is that I'm meant to know, but I kind of need a little bit more of some signals. So can you help me understand what this number is? And then you need to pay attention. Pay attention to your signs and symbols around you, and that will give you more of a clue, especially if you keep seeing the same numbers over and over again. Because yesterday on Twitter, a lot of people were talking about repeated sets of numbers, like 111, 222, 444, 1234. So if these ones are really, what should happen is when you acknowledge it, it should then change into another number, unless it's just saying, well, we don't know if you've got that message yet. So first thing, acknowledge it. Second thing, make sure that you're keeping a note of when and where it happens. But if you still don't know, then third, go to your guides, go to whatever you work with and say, okay, I need a little bit more with this. And also think, what does it mean to me? Because everybody has a different kind of symbology of what numbers mean to them. Someone was talking about their birthday coming up. Now, it could be that their date of their birthday is an important date that something's going to happen on. It could be because they're trying to get your attention and they want you to acknowledge that. So really, you need to make a note, and each case is individual. So once you get a little bit more focused and a little bit more grounded and present, you can start feeling about how it feels to you, and if it's telling you to kind of acknowledge me, and then you're like, okay, this is important to me, because this kind of links to probably a video I'm going to do maybe later in the week about expanding intuition in general. But understanding how your intuition works it makes your life a lot easier, because then you know, okay, this is important, and they're not subtle in kind of letting you know. And so I'll probably do that later in the week. Anyway, I'm probably going to sign off now. Oh, actually, I'm thinking there's one more thing I wanted to say. So, and I was thinking about intuition last night. One thing that I find is that now I've been talking about working with spirit guides, you can actually say, I don't get this, I'm not getting these symbols, like I'm the most unsettled person. And I've actually said to my guides, you've told me this and you sent this symbol and I can't see it, and I've thrown a bit of a wobbly because I like to have a bit of a tantrum, and I've got a lot of Leo, and I'm like, I'm just like throwing my toys a little bit out of the pram. So I said, I want it to be non-subtle. I want it in your face, well, in my face. I want to be able to see it. Now, I don't recommend you doing that intention exactly, because I have literally walked into a sign. I haven't hurt myself, actually a couple of signs. I haven't actually hurt myself, but I did notice it then. And I've had people just literally stand like that symbol has been right in front of me. So you can actually ask, please be a little bit, I need less of the subtlety, I need something more direct. Can you try this way? Or can you let me know, this is a symbol I very connected to me. So can you show me this, and then show me how that's my intuition working, so I know for next time. You can say any of those. I just don't recommend being as saying you wanted something in your face, but actually you can request that it's, you're learning to communicate together. You can request from both your guides or the universe or both. You can say, please give me this symbol, or please help me understand when it's you talking to me, or when it's my intuition. Give me a bit more of a nudge, because then you can have the other subtle ones as you go along, but you kind of then helps you understand that moment when you're learning that this is important, and this is how your whole self tells you this. Anyway, so I probably rambled on a little bit. And I'm probably going to ramble on a little bit more. If you want to continue the conversation, put a comment. I'd love you to subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Twitter is probably my social media platform, so it's Damon_mediator. I will put that into the description, and have a good day.